On Monday afternoon, this box arrived at my house, unannounced. Inside it, an obviously military-looking crate of some vintage. Now, the markings didn't offer much of a clue as to the contents, and well, frankly they still don't, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Opening the crate answered one question, but posed several more. Namely, what have those lunatics done this time? I unpacked the crate, many thoughts running through my head, such as, I wonder if this was used to store depleted uranium. Yeah, it's probably alright. So, a supply drop from Fanatec. Very cool, I particularly like the mug, but it was the 5 wheels inside that had me stumped for a moment. On first glance, they were older models, and frankly, as cool as the crate was, you'd normally ship review samples with their packaging, and not in some discarded Cold War ephemera, or for that matter, unannounced. So, what was the deal? Well, there wasn't one. Fanatec hadn't asked to send anything to me for review, and the first thing I knew about it was when a disgruntled UPS guy wanted help lifting it from his van. So, not review samples of new wheels then. After more time than I'd like to admit, I realised that these wheels were all upgraded V2 models of some of the old classics, which I guess at least made some thematic sense. But then there's the F1 Esports Wheel, which isn't currently available and didn't come with magnetic shifters. Until now, apparently. Late last year, Fanatec released upgraded versions of several of their older Club Sport sim wheels to bring them up to current standards and to ensure compatibility going forwards. It seems the F1 Esport wheel has had the same treatment, so with the crate business still somewhat unexplained, let's talk about the wheels. But first, for the sake of disclosure, obviously this stuff was sent to me for free because I didn't know it was coming, and I am a member of Fanatec's affiliate program. So, all of these 5 version 2 wheels share a common ethos. First and foremost is the switch from puny conventional shifters to rare earth magnets. And the shifting feel is much improved. In fact, it's actually quite hard to discern the difference in shifting feel between these Club Sport wheels and the much more expensive Podium Porsche GT3 wheel. It's very similar. Then there are tweaks to the electronics to allow the use of the advanced paddle module should you want the use of some clutches on the back of your wheel or a second pair of paddles. And finally, the included quick release mechanisms will allow future use of the upcoming QR2 system if that interests you. Okay, so those last 2 points are about upgrades, but it's nice to see more things in the Fanatec ecosystem that are going to play nicely together, which is a good sign for the future. Also nice is the return of the F1 Esports Wheel. This was incredibly popular last time around, offering a more budget-friendly alternative to the Formula V2 as it was. In exchange for the price drop, you did lose the rotary encoders and the multi-position switches on the front, as well as the carbon fiber front plate. But I personally preferred the less cluttered approach, and I've really never been a fan of the thumb encoders on the V2 and the 2.5 wheels, as you can knock them when you're turning, especially if you've got chunky glove fingers. It's also great to see some of the other older wheels back with the mod cons. The BMW M3 GT2 wheel was always a favourite, but it was let down a bit by those shifters compared to more modern offerings. With that solved, the €300 price tag is a lot more compelling, and at least from my perspective, it's a looker. Then there's the Universal Hub, which is a completely different beast with decent shifters. The red rim is very cool, but I'll probably be throwing one of my turn racing rims on it since I'm a creature of habit. And again, I think it's a combo that looks great. Moving on, I was a bit surprised by the RS wheel, which I guess hadn't really been on my radar, but it looks and feels very good in person, and I guess maybe I just missed it in the past. But this video wasn't really intended as a review. I thought it might be nice to share some of the big changes and give some broad impressions, but really, it's all about the crate. After my heart rate returned to a safe range, I did get into contact with Fanatec to find out whether I'd unwittingly agreed to some kind of 5-way wheel review deal while I was having one of my episodes. But no, this was the off-kilter madness of a company that A, has a little bit of a reputation for off-kilter madness, and B, have provided lots of support over the years. No strings, no quid pro quo. Sure, they probably hoped I'd make a video about it, but it's a fun story, how could I not?